76's Monster Mash! The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Whenever I saw the Texas Chainsaw Massacre for the first time, I thought the movie was real. Okay? They sold it to you like this shit really happened. And then I found out later on that it wasn't, you know, like, again, most people, you know, found out that the movie was basically based on Ed Gein and his obsession with, like, his mother and all that stuff, and basically defiling rotting corpses and making furniture out of skeleton bones and all this shit, you know. Also, not to mention the inspiration for a lot of other horror films. The movie starts off and it's got this, like, really long speech where they basically sell the fact to you that all this macabre and horrible dark shit that you're about to see really happened, and it's true, and it, you know, it's real. So being 5 years old watching that movie, you know, I don't know what my parents were thinking, but I guess they thought it was funny that I was scared of it. I don't know, but I watched it, you know, and I'm sitting there thinking it's real, but the way that the intro starts, like with that crawl, it's like a Star Wars crawl almost, except for a Texas Chainsaw Massacre style, you know. It's really dreary and dark sounding, and the dude's voice is really dry, and he's basically saying, like, all the shit that you're about to see is real, you know, and it just kicks off the movie like that. The movie's kind of takes off really slow, but once, like, the shit's happening, like, the shit is happening, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't stop and take a break, you know, so, I don't know. Basically, the movie starts off, you got these kids, okay, and they pick up a hitchhiker guy, which is one of my favorite characters in horror movies ever, you know. He's awesome. He's just really crazy. I love it. He gets into the van with them, and they offer to bring him home. And then all of a sudden, he, like, takes a picture. He starts taking pictures of everybody. And, like, then he, like, tries to sell the pictures to the people, and they don't want to buy them, so he gets really pissed off. He burns their pictures, you know what I'm saying? And takes, like, a switchblade and, like, cuts Franklin's arm. The crippled guy in the wheelchair, he cuts his arm, you know? And they kick him out of the van. He writes some really creepy, like, gibberish on the side of the van, and then they take off, like, as they're taking off, you know. They stop at Franklin and Sally's grandparents' farm or something like that, and they're talking about going swimming or something, you know. They're just hanging out. Okay, so two of the kids wander off. They're like boyfriend and girlfriend, and they come upon this house. The guy goes inside first, okay. He walks in. It's like this run-down looking old house, and he doesn't see anybody. And he walks in there, and he's like, he walks up this ramp, kind of like that goes into this room, and it's got this giant steel door. All of a sudden, he, like, trips or something, and, like, the door opens, and Leatherface, you know, the killer of the film, or one of them, you know, he's like this huge lurking guy with a sledgehammer, and he just rains down the sledgehammer on this dude's head. The guy's convulsing because of his nerves, you know. He's got hit in the head super hard, so he's like convulsing and jumping and going crazy on the ground. Leatherface pulls him in, and then he pulls the door shut, and there's this like really dreary, like, boom kind of, like, or sound effect, like, I mean, I don't know, you'd have to see it. It's great. Okay, so the girl walks in there, and she, like, sees all the bones and all this shit everywhere. Like, there's literally, like, chairs and stuff made out of bones. It's really, really twisted. And she starts, like, freaking out, I guess. Runs out of the house, and Leatherface, like, grabs her. He, like, runs up behind her and grabs her and brings her back in there. Hangs her on a hook. It was, oh my god, really intense. And there's not that much chainsaw action as you would think there would be, but towards the end, there's a really great chase scene with a lot of chainsaws, so I don't want to really ruin the movie too much for you guys. Scott 86, you have to check this out if you love horror films. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974 version. Definitely one of the most realistic films of all time. And also, what I do have to say is the Blair Witch and all these like found footage films, they really truly were inspired by the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, with, you know, marketing it as it's real and like it really happened and all this shit, you know. So the movie inspired so many films. If you're looking for a morbid, macabre, good time, then check out the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'll see you guys on the next episode of Monster Mash.